Bury me here. I'm not breeding material. She begged, until a human made her pregnant. The war had burned out the skies of Talresh, leaving only scorched valleys and drifting bones where once the great alien cities had stood. The victors, their own kind, had not shown mercy to those they called useless. In one of those burned valleys, a young woman knelt beside a shallow grave she had dug with her bare hands. Her skin, pale violet and patterned with fading stripes, was caked in ash. Her silver eyes no longer held hope. "Bury me here," she whispered hoarsely to the wind, speaking to no one. "I'm not breeding material. I'm broken, useless. Better to sink into the soil than waste another day." She pulled her thin cloak tighter around her frail body. Her people had decreed that those who could not reproduce were burdens, mouths that consumed but never gave back. The testing mark scarred into her forearm declared her barren. Since that day, she had lived as an exile, scavenging the war ruins, waiting for starvation or beasts to take her. But the ground was hard, and her trembling arms could not dig deep enough to finish her grave. She wept, pressing her face into the cold earth. That was when footsteps broke through the silence. She tensed, thinking a patrol had found her, ready to drag her off for disposal. Instead, a shadow fell across her, and a human voice spoke, low, calm, uncertain. "Hey, what are you doing out here?" She looked up. He was tall, wrapped in rugged survival gear, with a pack slung across his shoulder. Dust clung to his boots, but his eyes, warm brown, studied her with something she hadn't seen in years. Concern. Her lips quivered. "Leave me. I am digging my grave." His brows furrowed. "Your grave?" "I am not breeding material," she said flatly, lifting her scarred forearm as proof. "The council cast me out. I am nothing." For a moment, silence hung between them, broken only by the faint hiss of the wind over stone. Then the man shook his head slowly. "That's not nothing. That's cruelty." He crouched, meeting her gaze. "You don't deserve to die like this." She scoffed weakly. "You are human. What would you know of our laws?" "I know they're wrong," he said firmly. Her chest tightened. No one had ever spoken against the decree before, not even the gentler of her own kind. Yet this stranger, this human, spoke as if her worth was not tied to her womb. He reached into his pack, pulling out a wrap bundle. He set it gently in her lap. "Eat!" The smell hit her, bread, dried fruit, something savory. Her stomach cramped with hunger. She wanted to refuse, to cling to her death, but her body betrayed her, tearing into the food with trembling hands. He did not judge her greed. He only watched, making sure she did not choke. When at last she slowed, exhaustion overcoming hunger, he asked softly, "What's your name?" Her voice cracked. "Lyra." "I'm Daniel." He offered a faint smile. "And I'm not leaving you here." Days bled into weeks. Daniel brought her back to his small shelter hidden in the ruins of an old research station. It was crude but sturdy, patched with scavenged metal and powered by a small solar unit. There, he gave her water, warmth, and food. At first, Lyra resisted, insisting she was only a burden. But Daniel treated her with patient kindness, teaching her how to purify water, prepare meals, and mend clothing. Slowly, the weight of despair began to lift. One night, as they sat by the small heater, she whispered, "Why? Why save me? I told you I am barren." Daniel looked at her, eyes steady. "Because you're a person, not just a body for breeding. And because no one deserves to be abandoned." Her throat tightened. She turned her face away, tears slipping down her cheeks. She had prayed for years for someone to see her as more than her brokenness. This human, an outsider, had done what her own people would not. Seasons shifted. Together they survived the harsh wastes, hunting, foraging, trading with scattered travelers. Lyra's strength returned, her body filling out from its skeletal weakness. She laughed again, soft at first and freer, surprising even herself. And between her and Daniel, something deeper blossomed. It was not sudden. It grew in glances and touches when passing supplies, in the way he shielded her during storms. She had never been touched except with scorn. His hand on hers was gentle, reverent, asking permission without words. The night it happened, she had whispered against his chest, "I can give you nothing." He kissed her hair. "You've already given me everything." She believed him. Months later, sickness gripped her. At first, she thought it was a fever that often came in the dust storms. But then the nausea lingered. Her body shifted in strange ways, her appetite changing. She tried to hide it from Daniel, ashamed of weakness returning. But he noticed. One morning, as she doubled over, he knelt beside her, rubbing her back. "Lyra, something's different. You're not just sick." Her eyes widened, fear crashing into her. "No, it cannot be." He studied her, realization dawning. "Lyra," tears flooded her vision. "I cannot bear children. I was marked barren. The test said." He cupped her face, steadying her. "Tests can be wrong." Her heart pounded. Could it be true? Could the decree that had exiled her have been built on lies or mistakes? Weeks later, the truth could not be denied. Her belly grew. Within her, life stirred. She sobbed when she first felt it, collapsing into Daniel's arms. "I was told I was nothing," she choked, "that I would never, but you are," Daniel whispered fiercely. "You are everything. To me, to this child." As her pregnancy advanced, Daniel worked tirelessly, fortifying their shelter, gathering extra supplies, ensuring her comfort. Lyra marveled at the changes in herself. Her body, once starved, now radiant with new strength. Her spirit, once broken, now burning with purpose. Sometimes, fear still clawed at her. What if her people found her? What if they took the baby away, claiming it was an abomination? But Daniel always held her hand and said, "They don't decide your worth anymore. You do." The day her child was born, storm wind howled outside, rattling the shelter. But within, the air was filled with cries, hers of pain, and then, moments later, the fragile wail of new life. Daniel wrapped the infant in cloth, his hands trembling. He placed the tiny being in her arms. Half human, half alien, the baby blinked up at her with silver-brown eyes. Lyra wept openly, pressing her lips to her child's head. "They said I was barren," she whispered, voice breaking. "But I was not. I was only waiting. For you, for him." Daniel kissed her forehead, his own tears falling. "You were never broken. You were always meant to be a mother. Their lies couldn't change that." She held the baby close, feeling its warmth, its breath, its promise. She remembered the grave she had tried to dig, the hopeless words she had spoken. "Bury me here," I said, she murmured, rocking the child gently. "But instead, you gave me life." And as the storm raged outside, Lyra knew she would never ask for death again. She had been cast aside as worthless. But here, in the arms of a human, and in the heartbeat of her child, she had found her place, not in the grave, but in the future.